tá a bá wá mú títí nínú tó ń fún wa òun ò tún fún wa lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ sí i. ẹ̀jẹ̀ àṣẹ bá a tún ṣe é jọ ṣe o. ẹ̀jẹ̀ anáwó sójú ọ̀nà ọlọ́run ọba àlá kó tún lè fọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ rọ́pò fún wa bí ṣe é ṣe. àkókò ti tó. iléeṣẹ́ rédíò Àgídìgbò àti gbẹ́gbìmọ̀ Ramadan kalẹ̀ bá a ṣe é ṣe o. ẹ mú bọ̀ tààrà ní yàrá kìíní iléeṣẹ́ rédíò Àgídìgbò tàbí kẹ́ ẹ pé alága ìgbìmọ̀ Ramadan fún tọdún yìí Abdullahi Abiola Ọládìtì sórí nọ́mbà yìí 080-564-654-61 080-564-654-61 wá sí ìta gbangba wá sí ìdájí lóríṣiríṣi àti lóníranran ẹ̀yin oníléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá àtẹ̀yìn èèyàn tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ fi tọ́lọ̀ fún yín ṣe tọ́lọ́run ọba ẹ mọ̀ bọ́ níléeṣẹ́ rédíò Àgídìgbò ìṣẹ́jú márùn-ún bẹ ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́wàá ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún ọgbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú wákàtí kan gbogbo ẹ̀ kálígbáládá lọ́dọ̀ ọlọ́run ọba aláàní intansurula yansurukun.
Ramadan Mubarak oṣuwọlá tó wí.
Àgídìgbò 88.7 FM. Ó ti ń wáyé kò ì wáyé rí ó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀ kò ṣẹlẹ̀ rí. Àkọ́kọ́ ọrú ẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn iléeṣẹ́ rédíò àkọ́kọ́ tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún wákàtí 24 gbáko lónírúurú ètò àti ìròyìn tó gbámúṣe lójoojúmọ́ láti jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ jẹ̀gbádùn ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ àṣetán láti máa dùn yẹn nínú. Àgídìgbò 88.7 FM ohùn aráàlú.
There's a lot to digest and a lot of voices to be heard. Stick to the frequency that amplifies these voices, stories and reports that make the difference. This is Àgídìgbò News, 88.7 FM.
This is Kunle Amzat Studio, Àgídìgbò 88.7 FM. Welcome to News Around the World.
Good evening, welcome to the news around the world on the most listened to radio station, Àgídìgbò 88.7 FM, Ìbàdàn. I am Bowale Akinbode. First, the headlines. Army Chief reassures troops on welfare, salutes families of fallen heroes. Governor Makinde urges church to keep praying for your state's sustainable development. Protesters in Tehran describe seeing bodies piled up in hospitals after crackdown by authorities. Judge pursues Trump policy ending family reunification for some migrants. President Tinubu hails Super Eagles after Algeria victory. Now the details. The General Officer commanding 8th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Ibikunle, has reaffirmed the Army's commitment to improving troop welfare and strengthening support for families of fallen heroes as the nation commemorated the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Sokoto. Representing the General Officer commanding at the Catholic Church, Gengeya Barracks, brought together senior military officers, veterans, widows and relatives of the deceased soldiers for prayers, hymns and tributes in honor of personnel who died in service to the nation. The commander, 48th Engineer Brigadier General Raphael Okoroji, described Remembrance Day as an occasion not only to honor those who paid the supreme price, but also to recommit to the welfare of serving personnel. Major General Okoroji emphasized that troop welfare remains central to sustaining morale across operational theaters, particularly in areas affected by insurgency, banditry, and other security threats. The commanding army also assured that the federal government and the Army High Command are committed to improving living conditions, logistics, healthcare, training opportunities, and post-service benefits for military personnel. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has disclosed that the state government will unveil its development roadmap for 2027 and beyond before the end of the year. The governor, who reiterated the importance of collective responsibility in keeping Oyo State on the path of sustainable growth and development, made this known during a special Thanksgiving service held today at the Victory International Church, Rehoboth Cathedral, Ibadan. Speaking at the service, Governor Makinde identified indiscipline as a major cause of traffic gridlock on key roads across the country and pledged that Inner Road, including the Alebo axis and the BCG Akpata Ibadan roads, will be rehabilitated before the end of his administration, condemning the attack on forest guards at the Oyo National Park by suspected bandits, describing the killing of the personnel carrying out their lawful duties as needless and unjustified. Earlier in his Thanksgiving message, the host cleric Bishop Taiwo Adelakun, who read several Bible passages on Thanksgiving, admonished the congregation to remain humble and continually grateful for God's blessing, urging them to cultivate the habit of thanking God in all circumstances, regardless of the situations they find themselves. The Oyo State Police Command, under the leadership of the Commissioner of Police, CP Femi Aruno, has informed members of the public of two significant operational successes recorded by the command in furtherance of its commitment to intelligence-led policing, swift response to crime, and the protection of lives and property across the state. In demonstration of the command's prompt response to threats against public safety, on Friday the 9th of January 2026, the command received a report through the division regarding the abduction of two minors, a 15-year-old Hadu Abubakar and 14-year-old Sadari Abubakar, both of Akinshokpon village near Ayetoro Ile, by unknown gunmen, saying that the divisional police officer mobilized a joint security team comprising police operatives and other patterns, while the coordinated and intelligence-driven operation culminated in the successful rescue of the two kidnapped minors, who were safely reunited with the family, and the arrest of 4 suspects, thereby preventing further harm and restoring public confidence within the community. The Oyo State Police Command also assured the good people of the state that these achievements reflect its sustained operational readiness, intelligence-driven policing framework, and zero tolerance for criminality, reiterating that the command remains proactive and resolute in preventing crime, swiftly responding to security threats, and ensuring that perpetrators are decisively dealt with in accordance with the law. The Commissioner of Police further expressed profound appreciation to the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adeolu Egbetokun, as well as the Oyo State Government and His Excellency Governor Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, for their strategic leadership, unwavering support, and continuous assistance to the State Police Command. The Oyo State's Governor, Engineer Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, has reaffirmed his administration's dedication to ensure it maintains a safe, secure, and stable environment by improving its security architecture. The Governor stated this at the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day Church service held at the Cathedral of St. Peter's, Aremo, Ibadan. Agidigbo FM's Governor's Office correspondent Oluwapemi Bamidele was at the service. Here is the report.
As part of activities marking the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebrations in the state, the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, represented by the Chief of Staff, Otumba Segun Ogunwuyi, led some Christian faithfuls in the government to a special church service held at the Cathedral of St. Peter's, Aremo, Ibadan. Military officers, among whom the General Officer Commanding GOC 2 Division Nigerian Army, Major General C.R. Indibife, the Nigerian Air Force, men of the Nigeria Police Force, and the Nigerian Legion were also present to celebrate the fallen heroes. In his address, the state governor, Engineer Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, applauded the strength, endurance, and resilience of the Nigerian Armed Forces in the face of the security challenges facing the country. While speaking further, Governor Seyi Makinde renewed his unwavering commitment to the safety and security of all residents of Oyo State by continuing to work closely with armed forces and other paramilitary forces.
We continue to work closely with armed forces and all other security agencies to ensure that Oyo State remains peaceful, stable, and secure. This commitment is central to our vision of creating an environment where lives are protected, communities thrive, and development and investment can flourish.
Also speaking, General Officer Commanding GOC 2 Division Nigeria Army, Major General C.R. Ndibefe, appreciated the sacrifices of the Nigerian armed forces who fight daily to ensure the country is safe.
First, we celebrate the living heroes. We appreciate every one of them, officers and soldiers, for all the sacrifices they have been making to keep this nation one, keep this nation safe. Yeah, some people might say there are one or two security issues that are bound. But we must appreciate the sacrifices members of the armed forces do.
Earlier in his message, the provost of the Cathedral of St. Peter, Aremo, Ibadan, the Most Reverend Samuel Olaiwoyin, emphasized the importance of honoring the nation's fallen heroes, stressing that it is crucial to remember and recognize the dedication, perseverance, and sacrifices made by the heroes to uphold Nigeria's unity and oneness even in the face of adversity and persecution. Special prayers were offered unto God for the nation, Oyo State, members of the armed forces, and families of the fallen heroes. Oluwapemi Bamidele, Agidigbo FM News.
A mother in Israel, Bowale Akinbode of the Cherubim and Seraphim Church of Sunny Headquarters in Ibadan, has emphasized that God's supernatural abundance is not for mere consumption, but for transformation, sharing gratitude for the divine opportunity to witness and experience another period of God's abundant provision. In a sermon while speaking with Agidigbo FM correspondent at the Cherubim and Seraphim Church of Sunny Headquarters in Ibadan, Mrs. Akinbode emphasized the importance of abundant blessings of God in one's life.
The blessing is not meant for the material blessings alone, but to have spiritual blessings and other blessings, not just to get rich alone, but there are some other blessings that we can get from God that are supernatural, that which comes from God. And all these blessings, they give peace, they give one peace which the world cannot give us. They should aspire to get the blessings from God. They should not look at that scatter for any blessing, because there is no blessing the devil will give you. He will take it even in multiple folds. But if one stay with God, the blessings of God, which is supernatural, we give one peace of mind, we give peace all around. So Nigerians should make sure that this year they work with God.
Mrs. Bowale Akinbode further advised Nigerians that God's supernatural establishes a covenant of stewardship, where true abundance is revealed through grateful sharing, adding that God fills their hands to overflowing and explained that their natural response is to open them wide to heal the world and reflect divine generosity through one's actions. Now it is time to link up with our United Kingdom studio for the foreign news.
News from Kunle Hamzat Studio at Agidigbo FM. United Kingdom, I am Olushola Damilola. Several people who protested in Iran in recent days have described seeing bodies piled up in hospital after crackdown by authorities, which led to brutal violence on the street of Tehran. The protest, which began on December 28th as demonstration in Tehran over rampant inflation, spread to more than 100 cities, posing the biggest challenge to the Iranian regime in years. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Saturday said United States are in support of the people of Iran after President Trump reiterated his threats on Friday to attack Iranian government if security forces continue to kill protesters, although US-based human rights news agency estimated that at least 78 protesters have been killed in the past 14 days in connection with the demonstration. The US military has carried out multiple strikes in Syria, targeting the Islamic State militant group, according to US Central Command. The large-scale strike was carried out at around 5:30 p.m. UK time yesterday. The operation was authorized by President Donald Trump in direct response to the deadly ISIS attack on US and Syrian forces on 13 December last year, which resulted in the tragic death of 2 American soldiers and 1 US civilian interpreter. And that ends the news from Kunle Hamzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United Kingdom. I am Olushola Damilola.
We shall also be moving to our Maryland studio, United States, for more foreign news.
News from Kunle Hamzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Sonya. A federal judge has paused the Trump administration policy halting an immigration program that allowed migrants from some Central and South American countries to reunite with their family members in the United States while awaiting visas. In a 5-page order, Judge Indira Talwani of the Federal District Court in Massachusetts granted a 14-day stay of the Trump administration's decision last month to cancel the immigration program known as the Family Reunification Parole Program, while legal challenges continue. The order is the latest rebuke in a protracted battle between the Trump administration and the courts over a series of Biden-era immigration policies that Mr. Trump has attempted to cancel. In a statement on December 12, the Department of Homeland Security said it would end family reunification parole programs for migrants from Colombia, Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Haiti, and Honduras. The agency said the programs had security gaps caused by insufficient vetting that malicious and fraudulent actors could exploit to enter the United States. Tehran threatened retaliation on Sunday against U.S. military bases and its arch-foe Israel, which was on high alert in case President Donald Trump carried out his threat of attacking Iran to protect protesters, with the Islamic Republic's clerical establishment facing the biggest demonstrations since 2022. Trump has repeatedly threatened to attack if force is used on protesters. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bakir Ghalibaf, speaking in Parliament on Sunday, warned against a miscalculation, adding that in the case of an attack on Iran, the occupied territories like Israel, as well as all U.S. bases and ships, would be their legitimate target. That ends the news from Kunle Hamzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Sonya.
Welcome back now to the exciting world of sport. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has hailed the Super Eagles for their impressive performance against Algeria in the quarter-final of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The Nigeria president, in a post on his official X account, formerly Twitter, described the team's display as brilliant and inspiring, saying the players have the full backing of Nigerians as they continue to their push for continental glory, assuring them that they have the support of all Nigerians. According to the president, goals from Victor Osimhen and Akol Adams helped the Super Eagles defeat Algeria 2-0 in Marrakech to book their place in the semi-finals of the tournament, extending their strong run in the competition, adding that Nigeria have been one of the outstanding teams at the AFCON, combining attack flair with solid defending as they chase a 4th continental title. Meanwhile, Nigeria will face Morocco in the semi-finals come 9 p.m. on Wednesday, with hopes high that the Super Eagles can maintain their momentum and reach the final. To wrap up the news this evening, here is a recap of the headlines. Army Chief reassures troops on welfare, salute families of fallen heroes. Governor Makinde urges churches to keep praying for Oyo State's sustainable development. Protesters in Tehran describe seeing bodies piled up in hospitals after crackdown by authorities. President Bola Tinubu hails Super Eagles after Algeria victory. Don't forget that you can listen to us live on our website www.agidigbo887fm.com. You can also download our mobile app on the Google Play Store and iOS. Simply search for Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Follow us on Facebook at Agidigbo 88.7 FM, on Twitter and Instagram at Agidigbo 887 FM, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have news stories and tips for us, contact our newsroom on 070-8714-4865 or send us a mail on newsroom@agidigbo887fm.com. And before we go this evening, here is a quick tape. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Agidigbo FM says, nurture your mind with great thoughts. Finally, we have come to the end of the news around the world on the most listened to radio station, Agidigbo 88.7 FM, Ibadan. I am Bowale Akinbode. Thank you for listening. Good evening.
News is information, and information is power. At Agidigbo 88.7 FM, we bring the news from top to bottom.
The Oyo State government has said the over 1.5 million out of school children.
We give you reports from Oyo State.
The Oyo State House of Assembly has called for a thorough investigation.
The Southwest